It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
What is up, heroes of Dominion? My name is Charlie. This is Hero War Central. In this video, we're going to use Thea and only Thea, as well as a couple of heroes. Obviously, this is a team-focused game after all. We're going to defeat our Monday Guild War team, every hero team using Thea and as few other heroes as possible. We're going to stick to heroes that you probably will have leveled, but we're just going to show off Thea and that she can be used in every fight. You don't have to have Celeste or Dorian or Martha. Even in the most dire of circumstances where you might want to use Martha. So we were rank 1 in Gold League last week, and I want to go ahead and kick the fight off with the first opponent that we had. I decided to try something a little different here. I think that Yasmin might be the best damage dealer in the game, but that's a different video altogether. Obviously, she's stopped by Helios and Corvus, but you don't really see those a ton anymore. I thought that I would show off this fight. I don't know that any healer really would have had anything to do with this enemy team. I think that Celeste would have been a bad choice here. I think that Martha would have been fine, though I don't think that you really need any healer at all against this particular line, so long as you have a good dodgy tank. And in this case, we're using Yasmin as our tank. I wanted to see if, maybe anybody got low enough to trigger Thea's her violet skill of speeding up the ally. But obviously, without having much mages on the enemy team, her area of effect silence really didn't play into too much. This team was easy to defeat with just Yasmin. But here you go. Here's 4 heroes. Let's go on to the next fight. Now for my second fight against one of the more classic Carc or Bob teams that are out there, I went ahead and stuck with Yasmin as a tank. The thing about this team is it doesn't really have much protection against control effects. It does have Nebula, of course, that does remove. Thea is going to help out a ton in this instance. Arachne got reduced to low health very quickly, which ended up proccing Thea's speed up on her, led into the stun lock situation that we have here. You can see it kind of locks up the front end. No Sebastian. I'm using Jorgen in this team as well. There is no chance for the enemy Martha to keep the health up, not because I'm knocking over the totem, but because Yasmin blocks healing. And one thing to note about Carc is that he cannot ult if he is silenced. Also, he can't ult if he's stunned. So you might not think that Thea would be good against a Carc line, but with a team that includes Faceless and Astaroth, both magic ability heroes, Thea is, helpful. And again, I stuck with a dodge tank because, the primary method of damage was frontline damage here. If you don't let Carc ult that frequently, then, copying with Faceless doesn't really have any kind of benefit to it. And you can see the long durations that the enemy is controlled here. I'm not saying that you need Sebastian in every team, but in Guild War, if you don't have Sebastian on defense, then you're just asking to get Arachne stun locked to death, or Leon charmed to death, or, same thing goes for Helios. If you don't have Helios, then you're just asking for Yasmin to beat you up. So great Carc line, I guess, but no match for Thea. We added Jorgen and Arachne here, so we're got a couple more heroes added to the total, but let's go on to the next fight. So here we see one of the more traditional defenses that you're going to see in high-level Guild Wars and Clash of Worlds, more of a dodge line. I can't use Yasmin against this team because of Helios, so I decided to go with a Arachne tank situation. We've already used Arachne. In place of Yasmin, I popped in Iris. Iris is somebody that everybody should level up, and you might say, oh no, you can't use Thea against Ju. That's not good. Well, the thing about Thea, especially maxed out, and this is maxed testing, by the way, got a whole bunch of disclaimers in the description box down below that I'll add to as you guys complain about different things. The thing about Thea is that she's tanky enough to survive because Ju has low physical attack. I know that's crazy to say out loud like that, but he's a strength hero, which means his physical attack is a lot lower than a hero like Dante or Ginger or Kira or Carc. And all you have to really do is survive a couple of seconds of focusing that back line. Usually it's not early enough in the fight in order for Thea to get her healing going, her area of effect, and her shields. And without Sebastian on the enemy line, the control heroes of Arachne and Jorgen absolutely runs this fight down to nothing. We slow down a little bit on Martha because our damage dealing, basically relying on Iris's ult. But once that ult does fire off in just a few seconds here, the fight is ended quickly. Yeah, it didn't take me long to figure this one out, only 2 tries. On to the next fight. So I should probably explain why I'm using Thea and Yasmin together, and this is really what I wanted to try out. You can see immediately in this fight, Dante just clobbers Yasmin for a couple of hits, and you know, high enough damage that it stuns her, right? Enough damage, I think it's 20%, but she gets low really fast, and that will proc Thea's speed up. And the thing about Yasmin is she gains a lot of her effectiveness by doing critical hits and poisoning, which does all kinds of things, pure damage over time, as well as blocking of the healing. And the faster that she attacks with her basic attack, just like any other hero that applies things like a poison like this, the better it is. Of course, we had to add in, we added in Maya here. I wanted to start using the Maya Arachne team. You can add Maya and Arachne just about any line to ignore Sebastian. And I really hate to rely on this 2-hero combo. This might be the best, strongest hero combo in the game, actually. But with Maya's off healing as well as Nebula's off healing, it's more than enough to stay alive against Dante. Now, I'm not really sure why people keep trying to use Isaac and Sebastian on defense. You just don't really attack with magic damage, and Isaac isn't a problem. Obviously, you use Rufus or Isaac to protect your Dante, but if you don't need, there's ways around it still. So another easy victory. This one only took me 1 try. I did actually want to try this with just 4 heroes. If I happen to get that, then I will replace this video with that one. If you don't see it, then that means I couldn't do it with 4 heroes. But great fight. On to the next one. Thea so far doing pretty well. So now we have a line that you're going to see a ton of in PvP, Guild Wars, Clash of Worlds, Arena, and that is the LOL Osh team. But instead of using Isaac as a tank, a lot of people will throw in Astaroth or Aurora or a different tank. Zhu, Nebula, Martha, Sebastian. These 4 heroes, everybody should level up to a point because of the Osh battle in the city of Asgard. What I did for strategy on this fight, I kept Yasmin in here because we've just been doing it for so long. Again, I'm leaning into Thea's ability to get Yasmin to speed up. Zhu does, single target damage. Really, nobody else in this enemy team does damage, but I did need a couple of tries to figure out the hero to go in a second position. Whenever Yasmin jumps away, does her Dance of Death, the second position hero is exposed. This is Nebula. Nebula's got a little bit of self-heal and dodge and stuff like that. Whenever Yasmin jumps forward, she can boost Jorgen and Iris. I used Iris just to kind of push forward everybody, and I used Jorgen just the same kind of situation. Jorgen is not a good option against teams that have Sebastian. You can see that's why I don't have Arachne here. The Arachne-Maya combo is okay, though Maya is one of those heroes that if you have a Zhu boosted by Nebula hit, and it's a critical hit, it basically crushes Maya in one shot. Maybe if my City of Asgard Tree of Wisdom ranking was higher, you can see in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen now where my Tree of Wisdom ranking is. I probably would like to have an opportunity to use Morrigan, maybe Jet here. I haven't added Morrigan yet, but everybody should level up Morrigan to counter, Rufus and Astaroth. And I don't want to add Jet just because I'm trying to counter Astaroth here and trying to push everybody else forward. I'd already used Iris and I'd already used Jorgen. It ended up being a pretty clean fight after all said and done. Unfortunately, it looks like it has about a 75 to 80% win rate against this line. Probably use better heroes in this instance, and by better I mean not Yasmin tank. I would probably use an actual tank. I just haven't added a tank to my line yet, and I haven't really needed to, so I haven't honestly, thought to do it. Anybody that is not lacking skins is probably okay against Zhu. Nebula boosted Zhu or Nebula boosted Dante for that matter is going to really crush any tank heroes that don't have that health skin. So if you have anybody leveled up, Astaroth or Aurora, Chaba even, then Corvus, maybe use Corvus and Morrigan plus Yasmin would probably work. Probably be fine, but Mushy and Shroom and Julius without having the benefit of having more of their defensive skins yet, maybe not the best to use against Zhu or Dante for that matter, but eventually they will get their skins and they'll be added to the okay to use list. So yeah, that you're going to see this team a lot, and this will Thea will do it. It is worth noting again that Thea maybe not the best healer to use against this line. The only real silences I'm afflicting here is Martha and Astaroth really delaying their ultimates and their other skills, but really, you know, it's fine. Just showing you that you can use Thea against Zhu, especially Nebula boosted Zhu, is good enough. In fact, Thea didn't die in any of these. Usually the hero that died was the hero that was in the second position when Yasmin did her Dance of Death ultimate and jumped away. Now we're starting to get to even more of the trickier teams that you might see on defense. We have Arachne, Dante, Iris, Sebastian, Heidi. There's a lot of variations of this team. Some use Heidi, some use other, maybe an actual tank in this instance, but 100% win rate. Thea is very exceptional against this line. Not only is Thea protected from Dante because she is so far back, but the damage that Yasmin does quickly neutralizes Arachne, which is the big like MacGuffin on the enemy team is the stun of the enemy Arachne here. But we just kind of jump into it. Nebula boosted Sebastian. Don't know if that really is helpful in this instance. I just wanted to protect myself from stuns if they did get fired off. We've already used Sebastian and Iris a bunch. And while I did lose my Nebula, I think that Nebula deserves more pets, by the way. We lost Sebastian as well. It ended up that Yasmin sometimes is all you need. Some of the fights went like this. Other fights, I didn't lose any hero. But every time that we attempted this fight, 100% win rates, we ended up winning. Again, using Thea to silence. We have a bunch of mages on the enemy team. We have Arachne, Heidi, and Iris silenced. So they're very beneficial to have her, and her, not really her magic defense artifact didn't really help much. A little bit, I guess, Arachne if she stayed alive. But yeah, it was a clean fight. So this line is a very tank heavy, you have a double tank basically, counter control lineup. You can see I got Chorus and Sebastian in here. We got Jorgen in there. I wanted to bring my own Sebastian because of some of the control effects, just the Jorgen, I guess. Though I'll be honest with you, I don't think that I really needed Sebastian to counter Jorgen as quickly as Yasmin gains energy, even against a non-physical attacking team like this. It was absolutely an easy win. The healing block of Yasmin is exceptional. And you know, even though there's a Sebastian and a Chorus on the enemy team, the combination of Maya Arachne is pretty amazing, and you can see that as the fight lingers into the later, the team hits the silence on the enemy. I should say Thea hits the silence on the enemy, preventing Marcus from healing for a little while. And Jorgen, the tech on defense, is the last to fall. Pretty convincing win there as well. Thea silencing several heroes on this enemy team. The two tanks can be silenced. Jorgen and Marcus can be silenced. Of course, Sebastian, his abilities fire off before Thea can do anything about it. But without much damage here, the pure damage and the stuns and the heal block from Yasmin really takes the cake here. I want to mention that there was a couple other of the Astaroth, Zhu, Nebula, Sebastian, Martha lines on this Guild Wars defense, so I'm not going to show those because I've already showed how to beat those with Thea. But let's continue on to the next fight. So we got another Carc team on defense here. I would really not recommend using Yasmin against Celeste, especially as Yasmin as a tank. In fact, 2 out of 3 of these battles, Yasmin dies to Celeste. But without a Sebastian on the enemy team, I wanted to use Jorgen and I wanted to use Arachne. I could use Morrigan here. I still haven't added Morrigan to the mix just yet. The silence that we talked about over and over and over again affects Carc, it affects Astaroth, it affects Celeste. Not really so much, on a lower level with Yasmin and Nebula, but still it helps. Of course, Thea's other abilities do well. This fight, Yasmin did survive. Just a good timing with Thea's healing, but in some of the other fights, she did end up dying. But one of the really easy ways to control Carc is with Jorgen and, stun locking. Guys, you got to really, if you don't see a Sebastian on the enemy team, add in Arachne and Jorgen, and you're going to be so powerful. It's just going to run the show so many, just 9 times out of 10, you're going to be able to control the enemy team. If it's a heavy defense line, like a couple of tanks, couple of healers, then, Jorgen, Arachne, maybe not enough damage. Maybe you need to add in somebody that does pure damage like Yasmin or Iris. But Thea with the silence magic defense artifact maybe helped against that Celeste a little bit, especially a Nebula boosted Celeste, I guess. Of course, Helios here. I had to add Helios in to counter the enemy Yasmin. Guys, if you're not leveling up Helios, you're asking to get beat up by Yasmin every time. Now, against this line, you might hesitate again to use Thea because Cleaver will hook Thea, pull her to the front line, and you'll be able to defeat the Thea really quickly. The problem with this is that you're not really capitalizing on that too much. Aside from maybe Iris catching her with her ultimate, Kira attacks everybody. Nebula attacks large chunks of enemies when she does attack. And Martha doesn't really attack at all. So unless Cleaver's, the putrefaction area of effect frontline thing is up, you're not really doing much against Thea. And I will say that if you don't use Sebastian on defense with Cleaver, then Jorgen basically shuts Cleaver down completely. He doesn't allow him to hook at all. And one of the best ways to counter Iris is Yasmin. So we, for those keeping track at home, we still have not added a tank at all. The power of Thea's heal plus 50% damage reduction when she's ascended has been proving to be excellent with Yasmin. And her speed up ability when Yasmin does get low is pretty amazing as well. The silence not really affecting the enemy team too much, neither does the magic defense artifact. It's more that single target heal, the overheal with the area of effect. Just read into Thea's ascension skills and Thea's violent ability to speed things up. So far so good. Every line has been beaten with Thea, and just about every line has been beaten with Yasmin. I think this is a good combo, but we got one or two more battles to go. Let's go on to the next one. This is a very interesting defensive team. I love seeing outside of the box teams like this. You can see Sebastian on the enemy line. A couple of things about Amira, though. She doesn't have high magic attack or magic penetration. She's a support hero. She's not a mage. All right, and you would think that Amira would be good against countering Yasmin, but it's not all the time. It's just part of the time. And I had to add in Morrigan here to counter the Rufus, but there's really no pressure from this enemy team. You take away the Iris, which she doesn't die immediately because of the massive amount of healing that Marcus puts out. She doesn't die immediately because Marcus and Amira. But without Iris and with the magic defense artifact of Thea and the silence of Thea and the other, the bonus healing that we have here and there and the stuns, even with a Sebastian you can see I'm missing Iris a ton, but the pure damage is still ticking away. Even with all of that, this defensive line is really no match for this. Once the stuns come in and once the silences start landing, even though I did get the ultimate landed on me, it didn't really do much. The damage wasn't really there. So there's really no threat from this line. Again, Arachne Maya just proven to be one of the best combos in the game. Add in Thea and Yasmin, great combo, and then Morrigan to counter that Rufus. We got one more fight, guys. One more fight. Just kidding, guys. We got one more LOL Osh team. Astaroth, Zhu, Nebula, Sebastian, Martha. We've already showed that fight earlier. I want to give a big shout out to the guild, the Units. They didn't, I didn't ask for their permission to do this. I just wanted to show off the reworked Thea. If you found this video interesting, if you might want to level up Thea. I'm not saying that Thea is the best healer to level up in every circumstance. I'm just showing you that against the Gold League guilds on my server, Thea does just fine. Maybe it's the Yasmin Thea combo. Maybe it's the Maya Arachne combo that won it all. Regardless, I just ran the gauntlet, all of the enemy hero teams with Thea, and I won with less than 10 heroes total. I'll go ahead and put the list of 10 heroes that I use, or I'll put the list of heroes, however many it was, in the description box down below, like I said, as well as all of the disclaimers that I'm sure all of you are complaining about. I hope you found this video helpful. If you want me to do more videos like this, they take a little bit longer to do, but I find them to be very interesting, a lot of fun. I learn a lot. Hopefully you learn a lot, and we'll see how it goes. This is Gold League, top of the server fighting, of course max testing. But if you want to check out the Thea rework more in depth, check out the video that's on screen now. And there's a second video on there that I think that you should watch as well, especially if you're in the first week of July 2023. If you're watching this in the future, maybe it's not as important to you. I love you all. Good luck in Dominion.